Good evening, I'm Jeff Lyons. This is the 14 First Alert Weather Show at 9 o'clock here on Monday, March the 16th. I'm glad you're watching here tonight. Glad we're not talking about widespread damage around the tri-state from yesterday's storms. I am watching your comments here on the 14 News Facebook page, so if you have anything you'd like to say, put it in there and we'll check it out here in just a bit. We have cloudy skies out there now. The flurries have kind of settled down, although we did have a few little snow showers or flakes blowing there when I left the building at dinner a couple hours ago. It'll be windy and cold though overnight. We still have wind gusts out of the northwest at about 15 to 20, and we have another disturbance coming in tomorrow night late into early Wednesday morning that may bring a little more snow to the area, and then we'll dry out and warm up just in time for spring on Friday. Temperatures will get back into the mid 70s by the weekend. So a lot to unpack here. Big changes, of course. And first off, we have temperatures in the upper 20s, which is very cold considering, well, our high for today was 41, but that happened at midnight. During the day, temperatures did not climb above freezing for any significant length of time. Through the night and tomorrow, the clouds will thin out a bit. We might actually get a glimpse of the sun there during the afternoon. And then tomorrow night late, notice the timing there, 3 a.m., we have another disturbance diving down. Right now, it's looking more like the northeastern corner of the tri-state would be up for maybe a little skim of snow out there. Princeton, I-69 up here between Elberfeld or so, and Petersburg on up toward Washington, and then Jasper, Tell City, Owensboro. Could see some of that snow as it rotates around the disturbance. And we're talking about, you know, fractions of an inch of accumulation. The issue here is that it will stick to untreated roadways and could cause some slick driving there, especially on overpasses and that. So just be mindful if you have early travels there Wednesday morning. By Thursday, we're still clouded up, at least in the morning, although the sun should break out on Thursday afternoon, and that will continue our warm-up, 60s on Thursday, and then we're back into the 70s there for Friday and the weekend. And spring officially begins the vernal equinox on Friday, the 20th. 28 is our temperature right now. The feels like is at 18. And we only got 41 today, and that was right at midnight. You'll recall yesterday during the daytime, we got up to about 73. I think it was 73 or 4. And then the cold front came through at about 9 p.m., a little earlier in Illinois, a little later in our eastern counties, but around that time frame. And by midnight, the temperature was definitely plummeting quickly. The change in temperature between right now and yesterday, 33 degrees, which is a big drop. And our low this morning was 9 degrees below normal. Now, we probably haven't set the low yet for the day, and that 41 was 16 degrees cooler than the typical high. So bottom line here, it was pretty cold across the board. We had 77 yesterday. Well, my goodness, that was the warmest day of the month, other than those 281s. So yeah, that was a huge drop there in the temperature with that cold front. I guess with all of our focus on the storms, we kind of didn't look at the, or I didn't look at the actual temperature. I knew it was warm. 54 hundredths of an inch of rain fell when the storms came through. So that boosts our monthly total now to a surplus of about 2.5 inches more rainfall than we would typically get. And that's all good. That rain came quickly, but not a whole lot of it, so it got to soak in, and we continue then with a warmer and wetter than normal March, kind of a departure from the last 4 months where we've had rainfall deficits. It was been very dry really from November all the way through February. So this is a nice turnabout. Hopefully that trend will continue. It did knock a little bit of the tri-state out of the moderate drought classification. That is pulled back now to just Wayne County for us, and then down into Hamilton and Saline counties there in Illinois. But the Evansville area, Henderson, Owensboro, now back on track for rainfall and just abnormally dry there to the northwest, but not by much. So I think, of course, we're going to have a dry week ahead here, so we may kind of stay at that level on the drought monitor for the foreseeable future. All right, that big storm system that really whipped things up here in the tri-state is now tracking up into New England. It's raining now in places like Caribou, Maine, and down here into Connecticut, Hartford, and across New Jersey right now, Pennsylvania there around Philly, Washington, and it's going to change over to snow. The rain-snow line is, well, at about, what would that be, about Frostburg, Maryland, and then up here to about Scranton, PA, Albany. That will continue to push the colder air in and the snow. Still a lot of severe thunderstorm warnings too along this line, kind of like we had yesterday, lined up along the cold front itself. Here at home, I'm going to do a little replay here, a little rehash. You know, it's like the Saturday after the big football game Friday. You look back at what went right, what didn't. And I think overall, you know, our message, at least going into the weekend from Thursday and Friday, was that we were expecting widespread damaging winds, hurricane force winds, 75 miles an hour or greater, and tornadoes on Sunday, yesterday. And the way it actually played out, we had the wind. I don't think we had any 75s, even in thunderstorms in the tri-state area. But remember that risk zone was very large, so there were spots that had winds well over hurricane force. I think what really tipped the table for us was that prefrontal rain that came in. And that, if you remember, yesterday evening around, I think it was 7, we had rain, and it pulled the temperature down, and I think it kind of knocked down some of the energy that would have been available for storms had it not happened that way. And then the two lines merged, and lo and behold, we had more wind damage and tornadoes to our east. So for whatever reason, the tri-state was just kind of in the sweet spot. There were tornadoes to our west, from near Champaign up here, all the way down to St. Louis, around Cape Girardeau, and down into the boot heel of Missouri. But by the time things moved into the tri-state, we did not have that risk. Now, we did have some wind damage. There were trees and power lines down, but power outages were not as widespread as we had feared either. So I think the bottom line here is it's better to be over-prepared and have a storm system that underperforms rather than the other way around, where you're surprised and we get disruptive widespread damage. Oftentimes when we have especially an outlook from the Storm Prediction Center for day 3 and beyond that has this highlighted, they typically tend to verify, and this one did, by the way, just not right here in our 25 counties that we cover. The other thing that's kind of interesting about those higher level alerts, if you will, or outlooks, you know, level 4 and 5 sometimes, and even 3, would be that sometimes they bust, and they have a higher probability of busting, because oftentimes the conditions that you need to get that high-end kind of stuff, big tornadoes and widespread damaging winds, they're kind of rare to begin with. And if everything doesn't come together, it's not going to happen. It did happen, just not here in the tri-state yesterday. So anyway, that's kind of our take on it. We were all here. We all pretty much bought into what the models were showing us, what we were, you know, hearing from the Storm Prediction Center and the Weather Service, and all did a really good job, I think, of giving the message and alerting people. I think certainly everybody knew it was going to storm yesterday, hopefully, if we did our jobs right. Looking ahead, we have clouds tomorrow, a little gap in there, and then that disturbance rotating through the Great Lakes that could bring us a little skim of snow late tomorrow night, early Wednesday morning. Then high pressure builds in, and it's pretty calm then for the remainder of the work week. And the weekend, we will pick up a south wind again, at least through Saturday and early Sunday, and that's going to help warm us up. It looks like our next chance for rain will hold off until Tuesday, at least on the GFS model. The European is dry all the way across the board, really no mention of rain going into the first part of next week, at least not here for the tri-state, and which is kind of interesting. So not much agreement in the long-term models, you know, but oftentimes there isn't until we get a little farther down. 18 tonight for the low, 35 tomorrow for the high, and then we will get that 7-day forecast here with temperatures back in the 70s to coincide with the start of spring on Friday, and that will carry through to the weekend. We'll get another little jolt of colder air than Monday as we pull back into the mid-50s. Our temperatures expected, at least through the end of the month here, to stay at or above average, and rainfall near normal. Now, we haven't really seen long-term continuation of this wetter than normal pattern. So we could revert back to drought. Our pet pick tonight, I brought this back since we had storms yesterday. I figured Stormy the mini horse would like to make another appearance here, maybe laughing at us. I don't know what Stormy has on his mind there. Thanks, Riley, for that picture. All right, let's have a look at your questions and comments. Let's see here. I think I can get it. I got to go. Oh, what do I do? Well, we'll try that again. And I'm not seeing our Facebook Live. That's going to be hard to answer questions if I can't find us. Let's do this. You ever do that? You just kind of give up and close all the apps on your phone, reshuffle the deck. Now we'll open it, and I'll bet I'll come right up. And I did not. Well, be that way. Let me try it another way. Okay. There I am. All right. Now we're cooking with gas here. So let's see what your questions are. I think I can, I can see them. There we go. Mary Danner likes the sound. Okay, good. I'm glad we've got audio. That's always a plus. Good evening. Zach Seitz is on there. Suzanne Daly, Jeff Miller, ready to start planting the spring garden. All right, well, you're going to have good weather for that here coming up after we get through tomorrow. Be a little crusty out there with the sub-freezing temps. William Raleigh had a half-inch of rain yesterday and a 65-mile-per-hour gust. The highest, I think, at the airport was 64 yesterday, so that's definitely in the severe category. And it's interesting because William lives here in town. We were actually not under a severe thunderstorm warning at any time yesterday. We had one to the north and then one kicked in on the far east side. Doesn't surprise me, though, that you had that kind of rain and wind. And Cheyenne enjoyed Byron's behind the scenes tour. All right, well, glad you like that. Yeah, it's always kind of fun. Byron likes to, wander around with his phone and see what's going on. All right, it is Monday, so instead of Science Corner tonight, we're going to take a look at Out and About, which this week is a musical one, so I'm glad we have good sound. I spent some time with Monty Skelton a couple weeks ago, and here's what happened. I'm Jeff Lyons, out and about today with the incomparable Monty Skelton. How you doing, Monty?
Pretty good, pretty good. How are you doing?
I'm good. You got a gig coming up tonight?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted every night, right?
Right now it is.
I wanted to kind of have you take us behind the curtain, show us your music, how you get ready, what you do.
Sure, I can do that.
You play a lot of instruments.
I think in this room right now, there's probably about 20 that I can play. But I started off just using my ear. And then for me, it's kind of like, switching languages. So I've kind of figured out like the pattern recognition to kind of put it all together. When I was very young, I heard one note and I figured out how to do that on a different instrument. Like, I was like, okay, these two are related. And so that's kind of how I still kind of relate everything back to that. So but now I hear like that as F sharp on flute or like a G sharp on saxophone, or like, it just kind of instantly happens at this point. My brain works really strangely.
How does a saxophone work? How do you get music out of one of those things?
That is a great question. All right, so first thing you need to make a saxophone work is one of these. This is a reed. And this is actually what vibrates, all right? And so the reed goes onto the mouthpiece like this, and that's what creates the sound. You can play just this, and it still works. So then you put it with the rest of the instrument. The buttons basically are shortening and lengthening the instrument, which is how you get different notes. And then my pinky controls those at the bottom there. Like that, so. So the job of a saxophone player is to learn button combinations that create different sounds, and then you have to learn the technique here to become expressive. So, for a thing like tonight, I'll be playing it in twine, and I'll be playing saxophone. I combine that with DJing. I have my computer with the DJ equipment. I have my iPad that runs the effects for my saxophone and my guitar, and I mix the two together in unique ways. Tonight, I know I'll be more background, so if I see somebody kind of bobbing their head, or if they look up and they're smiling, then I know I'm doing something right. So I'm looking for the smiles and hopefully someone's nodding their head to my music as I'm playing. Oh, it's a blissful state. I know not only like creating music, but I'm enjoying it just as much as well. Like I'm a spectator along with the music at the same time. It's part of what keeps my battery full. It's an energy that keeps me motivated, and it's therapy. It's how I play. It's how I get through hard times. It's how I get my emotions out. It's kind of music is kind of attached to all those things.
Monty, thanks so much for taking us behind the curtain here.
Oh, yes.
Really fascinating.
Well, thank you.
All the things you do and probably will do. With Monty Skelton, I'm Jeff Lyons, out and about.
Bye.
All right, so that was Monty Skelton. Always good to spend some time with him. Monty is very, very generous with his talents, and I was involved for many years with a variety show here in Evansville called The Really Big Show that benefited the Arc of Evansville. And Monty, I think he played, we did 23 shows, 22 or 23 shows, and he played in half of them, either as a solo featured act or he played in the combo that did the music for all the other acts, and just a really, really good guy. So when you see Monty, and it's not hard to miss him, he's all over performing around the tri-state. Check him out and throw a couple bucks in his little guitar there like that lady did. He will appreciate it, and you will love his music. So thanks to Monty Skelton there for that out and about. That's all I have for you tonight. We do have a cold morning tomorrow. It's going to get down to 18 as you head out school and work in the morning. So you're going to have to dig out that winter coat at least one more day. We are going to warm up, though, by the end of the week, and I'll have the updated forecast on 14 News tonight at 10 o'clock. In the meantime, stay safe. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on 14 News at 10 o'clock.